hey, it's Sean Shapiro, here we go. Knows the road rules better than most folks know. Ask your questions, bring the heat or keep it chill. He's got the answers and a license to spill. Ask a traffic cop, Sean's your guy. Breaking it down, no lie, no tie. Knows the stuff and things to keep you clear. Ask away, he's the voice you wanna hear. Former badge, now a podcast star. Navigating traffic laws near and far. Stop sign confusions or a signal light feud. Sean's the one to give you the right attitude. Yeah! Ask your traffic cop, Sean's your guy. Breaking it down, no lie, no tie. Knows the stuff and things to keep you clear. Ask away, he's the voice you wanna hear. From this man. Ask a traffic cop, Sean's your guy. Breaking it down, no lie, no tie.
Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Today is the 16th of December, 2025, although I'm totally ready for 2026. It's not quite there, so we're pumping the brakes, which is sometimes something you have to do. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff, and I enjoy it. That's why I do it. I'm here for you. If you got questions, I generally have answers, and if I don't, we'll find them for you. I've been answering emails all week. Although this show is only on 10 a.m. on Tuesdays and 9 p.m. on Wednesdays, I answer questions and comments all week long, and I've had some really interesting ones. I don't know if I can share them, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. If you've got questions, throw them in the chat. Doesn't matter what platform you're on. We are on a number of platforms. If you are on YouTube, well, like my friend Tien, who is on YouTube, I can put your stuff on the screen like this. And if you are on Kick, Twitch, YouTube, I said that already, X.com, Facebook, that should all come through in the same place, just like Julie, who came in through YouTube. Now, if you're on TikTok, I see you. I just can't put you on screen. So by all means, ask away. TikTok is one of our biggest audiences, and this is 9 different platforms we're currently broadcasting simultaneously to. And after the show, I download the episode, I republish it to podcast platforms so that if you missed it or if you can't stick around to hear your answer, you can always go back, listen to it on YouTube, or watch it on YouTube. You can also go to Spotify, iHeart Radio Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We're on all of them because we want to be there for you. If you're on TikTok, though, I would appreciate if you would tap that screen feverishly until your fingers go numb. It helps bring more people to the party. Decepticons Forever says Dick Van Dyke is 100. He can't play with Lego anymore. I saw that. It's fantastic. The signs, the pictures, the box has an image and it says like from 3 to 99, and Dick Van Dyke is officially outside of the age of acceptable use of Lego. By the way, I love Lego. There was a period of time where I didn't use it. It was in a bucket upstairs, and I really don't use it. But I did buy a couple of sets for my kids, and they are loving it. We've got some Harry Potter Lego, Star Wars Lego. What kind of Lego do you like? What is your favorite Lego? And is there truly a cap for Lego? Is 100 no longer in the eligibility, or they just run out of space in the box and they didn't want to put 100? But congratulations to Dick Van Dyke for hitting that milestone, that 100. May we all live that long. A healthy lifestyle. Like to be that old and miserable would be meh. Bush Outdoors Canada, what's going on? I see you sent me a reel. I don't know if I can actually see that reel. Can I see that reel? Can I cut and paste it? I can't. No, I can't. But if you DM me that, I'll check it out later. If you're looking for a marathon watch, you should talk to Bush Outdoor Canada. Bush Outdoors _ Canada is the account on Instagram. Let's see here. What do we got? We already said hello to Julie. I've got Cinderelli. Is that? Let's see. We got RM82 and lots of numbers. We got Right Track Racing, who came in with a good morning. He said, "Talk to me, Goose." And we know him. He's that drag racing cop who teaches driving stuff and things to those who want to know, kids and stuff, young people's. Actually, I've spoken at some of his events at the Toronto Police Divisions. It was at his division, and then we went to another division. We were talking to young folks who are getting their driver's license. It was pretty awesome indeed. Boop-a-doo, I see a 13 and Jalal. We got Jalal says cool intro. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. We have the 13 and it's smiley face is the username. It's the colon bracket. In Ontario, when is it legal to pass plows versus when is it not? We'll talk about that in 1 second, but I just want to take an opportunity to thank our sponsors. Thanks for Diamond and Diamond Lawyers, Canada's largest personal injury law firm. They have stepped up and they help keep the lights on here and the podcast potting. Yeah, they believe in traffic safety and want to keep you safe. So they are very involved with the traffic safety culture and environment, and we appreciate them. Also, a shout out to Barrett Legal, Barrett Tax Law, and ifinallywill.com. If you're looking to get a will done, and if you don't have one, you should be looking to get a will done, you should go to ifinallywill.com. If you go there and use code AATC for Ask a Traffic Cop, you get 50% off your bill. And you know what? That could mean a lot of money, savings, that is. And if you don't have a will, it means a lot of money could go to the wrong person in the event of your demise. We're all going to go one day, making sure that the stuff that matters to us and the people who matter to us get what they deserve and what you want them to have. And not only that, while you're still alive, to make sure that you have a power of attorney that keeps track of your wants and needs, even if you can't speak for yourself. Okay. With that out of the way, we've got Riz Vision. He says, ever seen that episode of X-Files where they cross over with the show Cop? Really? No, but now I really want to. I used to love watching Cops. I actually have a box set of the television show on VHS, television show Cops. And I don't have a VHS player to watch them anymore. Otherwise, I'd convert them and watch them on my media computer. I was actually in Florida during the filming of one episode, or at least I was there. I saw it. I saw lights go by and camera crews. It was cool. I didn't get involved. I wasn't a cop. I wasn't on the job. So now I've got things to do. Riz Vision tends to ask questions and provide insight into things I had never thought of ever, like plutonium. Other than in Back to the Future, it's never entered my... Yeah, no. Okay. Decepticons Forever, like the intro animation. Thank you. Be Free 38 says, I have a question about U-turns. Ask away. This is how it works. You don't need to ask if you can ask. You just ask, and then we'll answer. We've got Decepticons Forever, who says I like Star Wars Lego and Knight Rider. They have Knight Rider Lego. I love Knight Rider. Listen, I'm a kid of the 70s and 80s, and I loved the old school TV shows. If they had a Chips Lego, please tell me there's a Chips Lego. I want California Highway Patrol, Punch, and John, pair of motorcycles. That's what needs to be on my desk. You can't see it behind me, the green screen behind me, but I have a GI Joe Motor Cop. Did I take it out of the box? I think I took it out of the box. I wasn't going to, but then the box I think got damaged. Sarah says, "Good morning, Sean. Hope you're doing well." I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. I wasn't doing great like 2 days ago when I pulled my back, but today's I'm feeling a lot better. Thanks for asking. How I is doing. Oh no, really? Decepticons Forever says you kind of look like a young Rob Reiner. I feel sad now. Well, I am not a young, old, or otherwise Rob Reiner. Although I have watched all his stuff, and he's been so instrumental in Hollywood, making good stuff and things. And it's sad to hear that he was killed. I look forward to learning more. It's just we live in a really messed up world, don't we? And Decepticons Forever says, I have a VHS player that copies onto DVD. That's cool. I think I may have had one of those once upon a time. DVD. Who has those anymore? The Real Walker Texas Ranger joined. What's going on, my friend? Been a while. And then we have more from Nicholas Rizzi, the Riz Man. He was on Insta, now he's on X, and he says, crime tip: when running from the cops, throw a handful of Legos on the floor. Cop shoes cannot handle stepping on them. Death bricks. If also they slip and make and if they slip and fall, makes a great TikTok. Really? There is, man. He's a comedian and an accountant. Put those two things together for true fun. He adds that fun fact: plutonium is more illegal to traffic than drugs. Life in prison kind of punishment. And he was just hoping for $110 ticket. All right, let's get into TikTok, who have been patiently waiting with lots of questions accruing. We have. Okay, so the question was, in Ontario, when is it legal to pass plows versus when is it not? That was the question before I started getting into other stuff and things. Didn't mean to go down a rabbit hole, but hey, rabbit holes are things I go down all the time. The answer is you can pass when safe. You can pass a snowplow if it's a solo snowplow safely. You can do it. If it's unsafe, obviously you're looking at whatever you do to cause a collision or a lack of safety, like careless driving or something. If you're talking about the new law that came in to deal with snowplows that are operating in echelon, that's when they're on that angle, 45-degree angle, either two or more, and they're the first plow is shoveling or plowing the snow into the lane in front of the second plow, which is plowing all of that either to the side of the road or into yet another plow. Well, you cannot pass those if any portion of that plow is in the lane that you're using. So if they were in lanes 2, 3, and 4, and lane 1 was perfectly clear, you could pass them. I would suggest just stay away from them. Wait, be patient. They're clearing the road for a reason. Just stick behind them. I know nobody likes nobody likes to be behind a snowplow. However, they are there to make roads safer. And by jumping ahead, what tends to happen is people lose control, end up in front of the blades of the snowplow, and things get deadly quickly. So please just be patient. It's no fun to have a collision when it could have just been a 5-minute slowdown. People don't realize it's inconsequential, the amount of time. Okay, I say that, and then I hate being behind snowplows too. So I get it, but it's frustration. Deal with it. Don't pass snowplows if you can. Not illegal again, unless it's that echelon situation or if it's unsafe. Canada 2 Gold. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to have you back. Question is: bus in right-hand turn lane at bus stop. Can I make a right in front of the bus from the right lane? So what you're doing is going. So if the bus, so they're saying that there's a bus here and you're beside them because they blocked the lane and you want to cross in front of the bus. Can you do it legally? Technically, it's not lawful. You're making an improper right turn. Now, if you could change lanes in front of the bus entering the right turn lane and then make the right turn lane from the right turn lane, you would be in a situation where you'd be legal. Now, would a copper give you a hard time? Depends on the copper. Now, could you have waited 30 seconds and the bus would have left and you're off to the races slowly? I would suggest against doing it. Could you get away with it? You might get away with it, but I would suggest against it, because what happens when that bus decides to go and they don't see you because you're there and they hit you. Yeah, they're at fault, but you've caused a collision. Making a right turn, you'd share some of that fault. I would just say don't do it. I've said it before. This is not the first time we've had that question. It's a good question though. Jamie Small, yeah, I can see some peeps. Can you convert your Cops episode? Oh, Decepticons Forever is offering to convert the Cops episodes. I will locate the boxes and then we'll have to hook up the coffee that we've yet to have. And I will hand over said VHS tapes. Okay. Nicholas. Oh, Nicholas Rizzi holds himself responsible for 90% of my rabbit holes. Sounds very wrong. All right. Toronto Cop Laser 42. What's going on? I'm not entirely sure how to decode that. There's so many ways to go from that, but I think maybe possibly. Jalal wants to know if, to the best of my knowledge, does anxiety rule you out from being an officer, even if you take medicine? You need to, so if you're interested in becoming a police officer, anxiety, if it's debilitating anxiety, like if you've got your anxiety under control, I don't know. You have to be cleared by a psychologist to be a police officer. This is the most, or I say this as though I'm still in it. I'm no longer a police officer, former police officer, but policing is possibly the most anxiety causing thing in the world. You're going into everybody else's stress. If you already have anxiety and stress, that might not be a good thing. It may not be healthy for you. And there's other positions within the police service that you might be able to be involved in that don't have the same level of risk and not only to your person but to your mental health. But by all means, talk to your therapist if you don't have one. Well, if you're medicated, I'm assuming you do have one. Talk to them. Talk to a recruiter because they're the ones who'll be able to best answer you. But at the end of the day, know that you have to be cleared by a doctor, psychologist, a psychiatrist, I don't know which one they are. Either way, somehow I made it through. Just saying. But I don't know. I don't know enough about anxiety to really give a true opinion other than what I've already given as my thing. Okay. Moving along. Hope that's helpful though. Okay. Why can Jeeps have no doors, but my car can't? Well, Jeeps were designed that way. That's the best answer I can give you. Jeeps were designed to be driven without their doors. Their structural rigidity doesn't rely on them. In fact, I think the signage inside the vehicle, especially for the roof, says this is not something for safety. It's to keep the wet out. Really, for the most part, that's what they're there for. Because the doors they just don't do anything. They're little tinny flip flops. People discussed on the show, or previous episodes, when mechanics were on the show, because we have mechanics like Melody, who may or may not be here right now, as to why it works. Why can't I just cut off them doors? Well, could you? No, don't even go there. There's airbags in doors now. There's so many things in the majority of vehicles that are safety devices. Jeeps just don't have those things. Don't think there's anything safety in the doors of a Jeep or with removable doors. Okay. Dalton Ross wants to know if they can have amber lights in my car, as in like back window light bar. You mean like signal lights? Like what kind of lights? Like back window light bar, like directional lights, arrow stick? There's nothing wrong with having amber lights in your car or on your car, in your car. You're allowed to have amber lights. I talk a lot about hazards being misused, but if they're being used for the right reason, I have no issue with them. And a light stick, if you were someone who, let's say, helps people at the side of the road, whether by volunteer or for work, and you wanted to make sure you weren't going to get hit, I would see no issue with you having a directional light bar in the back of your window. If you're a security vehicle, same situation. If you had that, and you could be you putting it to good work and for the right purpose, I see no issue with it. Legally, I don't see an issue with it either. The Real Walker Texas Ranger says, did you start as a special constable or constable? Do you think starting as a special constable would be a barrier to becoming a constable if they don't want to lose you in your current role? It's a fantastic question. And the answer is I started as an auxiliary officer because there was a hiring freeze for police officers. And after signing, they said, we're lifting the freeze. So I said, I made a commitment. I'm going to do this. But they did make an offer or have an opening for court officers, which are special constables. So I started as a special constable in the paid world, did that. and I continued being an auxiliary officer. I wanted to make good on my commitment to the auxiliary police, and I did the auxiliary contiguously for 12 years. I was a court officer for 4 years, then left, did some other stuff, came back, and then came back again as a court officer, became a sergeant, and with the auxiliary police became a supervisor in courts, and then traded both of those uniforms in for the police officer role as a police constable. Now, I can tell you that people do this all the time. They get hired, they do 2 weeks is one thing, they flip flop, and the priority is policing. So don't ever worry about the police not wanting to lose a court officer, a special constable, an auxiliary, a clerk. They want their best people to be police officers. So if they've identified a good candidate, they'll happily take that good candidate and change their uniform and put them where they can do the best for the service and for the community that we serve. Okay. Hope that answers your question. If you got more, throw them my way. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer. I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And if you got questions about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff, then you're in the right place. And you should be following this channel and hitting like and follow and share, because that's how we get more people to the party to bring unique questions. We've been on for 20 minutes. We'll be on for 40 more. And that's how that works. The 1 hour thing. Trying to do at least an hour. Maybe we go a little bit over time. But I do have to record a podcast afterwards, which reminds me, I've yet to check in this morning with my guest, who I was supposed to. No, we'll leave that after. I'll check in with him after. See, rabbit hole. I wanted to go reach out to him right now. I'll have to wait. Maybe he's watching right now on LinkedIn, because we're on LinkedIn as well. Okay. Faded wants to know, is it actually illegal to have a neon on while driving in Alberta as long as it's not flashing? Excuse me. Is it actually illegal to have neon on while driving in? We're talking about Underglow, I'm assuming. And apparently it's really dry where I am. That whole winter thing with heaters on. So Alberta is a funny thing. They basically make everything illegal. Like, you can't drink water. Could be distracted driving charges. Now, if you're driving, and I just watched a video of a friend of mine making. He's a constable, a community constable, and he made a video talking about the fact that it's totally illegal on the road. He says he loves his car community, use them on private property, not when driving. So they have very different rules. Every province in the country has different rules, and every state within the United States has different rules. They're primarily the same. Most of the differences are equipment related. And I think Alberta's got some weird ones, if I do say so myself. Bill Fawn says, difference between flashing yellow traffic lights and flashing red traffic lights. What is it? Oh, are we talking about automated traffic signals? Absolutely. There's a difference. Flashing red, if you're approaching an intersection with a flashing red light, instead of red, yellow, green, you have flashing red. That means treat it as a four-way stop, or treat it as a stop for you, because flashing yellow could be shown to the other side, which is a yield. It tells you that the signal is in flashing yellow mode, means it's a yield for you, which means proceed with caution. And red, if it's the other side, is red. It's a stop sign. So what does that mean? It means the yellow person does not need to stop. They got a flashing yellow, but the red does, and they can only proceed when it's safe to do so. And it's helpful to know that the other side could be yield, because they don't have to stop, which means you need to pay attention to that. Assume that nobody's doing the right thing when that happens. If it's completely out, by the way, it's a four-way stop where nobody knows what to do. At least that's the experience that I've had. Completely random stuff. And we've got, Real Walker Texas Ranger says, thanks. I've really been considering starting the process and want to be as prepared as possible. By all means, and feel free to reach out. If you got questions, you can email me, you can DM me, try and get back to everybody. Brancos says, if somebody is blocking the left lane on the highway going 90, can you overtake on the right lane? So a lot of people believe that there's no passing on right. Now, there are laws in the province of Ontario that say no passing on right, but that is not for multi-lane roads. If you have 4 lanes on the highway, there's nothing that says you have to be in the leftmost lane to pass the person in the second lane. That's not required. You can pass. You can exceed the rate of speed of anybody, technically, without going over the speed limit. You can't speed any lane. But if someone is doing 90 in lane 1, you can go 92 in lane 2 and go faster than them, or 95 or 100 if the speed limit's 100. The point being is that law doesn't apply to multi-lane highways. Where it does apply is, let's say you're on a 2-lane road, one road north, one lane north, one lane south, and someone's slowing down to make a left turn, or they've got their signal on, or they've stopped and they're waiting to make a left turn. Can you pass them on the shoulder? That's where this law is coming into play. And the answer is depends. If it's a paved shoulder, you can. If it's an unpaved shoulder, you cannot. You must slow down, stop, and wait for them. And that's important to know. If I do say so myself. Yes. Hope that helps. Okay. Dre Studios, new phone. Who dis? Oh, man. Good to see Dre. Dre's a buddy of mine who's involved in the racing community. And yeah. Outlaw 2123 is asking about where Shapiro is. I think Shapiro is possibly one of the most common Jewish names on the planet. So yes, it is a Jewish name, as I am Jewish. Left Lane says, "Sir, did you retire before your time?" I left policing well before I was 8 years early. I was a week before turning 50. I had other stuff I needed to do in my life, and I miss my police family dearly. But it was something I had to do for family, so I left early and retired super duper early from policing. I never planned on it. It was very last minute, but it was all about family. And Ben says, "What rank did you achieve in police force?" I was a police constable. I was a first-class police constable. I was a training constable. I'd worked in various areas. I was a motor squad officer, but my rank was police constable. Detective constable when I was working in the detective office, but that's not a true rank. It's like a sergeant in the detective office is a detective. A staff sergeant in the detective office is a detective sergeant. It's weird. It depends on what service you're with. I don't get it. Like in NYPD, you're a detective when you take the detective's exam and get an appointment as a detective. And if you work in uniform, you're still wearing a detective shield. If you work anywhere, you're a detective. And you can have their sergeant. It's different. NYPD different. Everywhere's different. Okay. Jalal, you're very welcome. They had said, "Thank you so much. I appreciate your honesty, and I appreciate your question." That's how this all works. Himan Shu says, "I'm just coming back from Kitchener Police Station." Cool. Hopefully it was for a good thing, not a bad thing. Sabin Botanics says, "Do you do detective work now?" No, I'm not a detective. I don't do investigations. I am an educator online. I started a not-for-profit called BTSE, or the Canadian Organization for Better Traffic Safety and Education, and I'm involved in online education in different areas and topics, as well as social media for other people, representing. And Melody is here. Hi, Melody. How you doing? Melody, the mechanic, is in the house. That didn't sound very cool, but it's true. She's here. If you got questions about mechanic stuff, you can throw them in there, and you might get lucky enough to get an answer from Melody. Sherlock Bones, fantastic name. What's the legal amount of snow I can have in my car? I'm questioning why you'd want to put snow in your car. Are you transporting snow for a special event? You want to make a snowman at home, but their lawn was excluded? I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume you meant on your car, and you can't. Sorry, just picturing someone shoveling snow into their car and then going home with it. It would become a puddle if you were in my car, because I like to keep it toasty warm. If you're driving and you have snow on your car, and your view is obstructed, or it's blowing off, or it's sheets of ice, like it's all about the depends. Could you have a thin layer of snow that might blow off in a second you start moving it? Maybe. It's not against the law to have snow on your vehicle. It's against the law to obscure your view. It's illegal to have that, that sofa bed or a mattress on top of your vehicle and have it fly off and hit other vehicles and damage, because you're responsible for what you do on the road, even if the creator put snow on top of your vehicle and now you didn't clear it, or if you hit the brakes and it covers your vehicle and you can't see it, or if you just scraped out that tiny little slice of heaven so you can see the road. It depends. Your visibility can't be obstructed. Let's see here. M wants to know if the odor of cannabis is coming out of my car in Ontario. Are they allowed to search? Yeah. I mean, first of all, do you have burnt or unburnt? It all depends. So yeah, if they have reason to believe that you're transporting cannabis illegally in your vehicle, they may very well have a reason to search your vehicle. It all depends on the evidence that's the observations made by the officer. If it's odor of cannabis that's fresh versus burnt, if it's burnt and recently burnt, could they think that maybe you're consuming it while you're driving? It all depends. But yeah, it might be grounds for a search. Okay. Dre Studios, new phone. What'd you get? What kind of phone did you get? I'm always interested to know. I picked up the new 17 Pro Max, and I'm very happy with it. I wasn't happy with it originally, and I may not be as happy because the operating system has some quirky stuff that has not yet been repaired or fixed. But I just ran an update yesterday. We'll see if it still crashes the head unit in my car. I'm using a weird wireless CarPlay to circumvent the fact that it's not working directly by wire, which is how I prefer it. Brandon says, hello, Sean and all from Edinburgh, Scotland, from the Toolboth Tavern. Sorry I'm late. Hope you all had a fantastic day. Awesome. When are you coming back? Although I can't imagine you'd want to leave. It's an amazing place to visit. I hope you're doing well out by you. Out there is, yes. Fun fact, the world of Law and Order plutonium is worthless, but on the black market, it's worth $40,000 a gram. Interesting. Don't judge me. Groceries, gas are expensive. He also goes on to say, if I wanted to apply to be a detective, does having a super sleuth status that I earn by completing Where in the World is Carmen San Diego game good to put? I definitely think you should put that on your resume. In fact, I'm dying to read the resume. I imagine anything that you put forward into the world would be hilarious. I'm slightly biased. I think you're a funny dude. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So Himanshu says it was a bad thing. He was allegedly a DUI. She's not much, just allegedly a DUI. I failed a breath analyzer in Ontario. Well, your life is about to get expensive, my friend. Just to give you a heads up and not to depress you before the holidays, any more than you may already be, having just left the police station, having been charged with, impaired operation. I'm assuming, did you get charged with over 80 and impaired, or just impaired? Because DUI, driving under the influence, is kind of an open, it's open for interpretation, but what actually happened may be different. So if you fail, that means you were over the legal limit at the side of the road. Did the two subsequent breathalyzer from a breath tech support that, and they laid charges, or did they just stick with there's a lot of different ways it could have gone. I'm curious to know more. I'm totally neutral because I'm no longer a police officer and I'm not defense. I'm just a curious dude. All right. Seth Didon. What's going on, Seth? How you doing? We got what do you, I don't know what WDUYTA. What do you, I don't know what that is. I'm trying to decode my algorithm, I don't know. Civilian traffic enforcement team, vehicle cameras, 360 targeting, speed and dangerous driving. Oh, interesting. That is interesting. I'd like to know more about this. Okay. Tahir says, if a vehicle deserves a parking violation ticket but doesn't have the registration plates on it, what happens? Is it on the road? I'd call parking enforcement. If it's an unplated vehicle, they might just get towed off the road. If it's on private property, the property owner could have it towed. I want to know more about that too. These are interesting. I like these interesting questions. So he stayed silent when they asked for a breath test. So you refused a breath test? Well, dude, that's the worst. If you refuse a breath test, you failed roadside, then you refuse a breath test. Refuse is the same as failing. It's the same. So you've made it very easy for the other side, the police side, to prosecute you. Sadly, you should. If you didn't get legal advice, you should get some legal advice now. I don't know any lawyers that specialize in that. Otherwise, I would refer you. As far as I know, and listen, I don't know. Diamond and Diamond may also do that kind of law. They're sponsors of the show. They're not, to the best of my knowledge, in that game. They're the personal injury lawyers, but you call them. They could probably refer you to somebody that could help you in that. But that's not a good thing. Refusing is no bueno. Okay. What are you doing for the holidays? Anybody doing anything big? It's Hanukkah right now. Happy Hanukkah to anyone who celebrates Hanukkah. Merry Christmas to anyone who's celebrating Christmas or preparing to celebrate Christmas. It's the best time of year. It's my favorite time of year. Between the music and people actually treating people like human beings in some places, other places people are just treating people like garbage. Just what it is. 6'10" meep. 6'10" smeep. Okay, I don't know what your username is, but if you're 6'10", is this your height or is this something else? I'm 6'5", so 6'10" is taller by a lot. Okay, I work road assistance. The amount of people who disregard our lights and speed past us is wild. Yes, it's absolutely disgusting. People don't understand slow down, move over. They don't understand the risk that people who work on the road are experiencing or are in. Whether you're a police officer, medic, fire, or tow truck operator, or roadside assistance, you are at risk when you're on the road. They're there to help you, and the people who are passing by are just in a rush. They just got to go somewhere. They don't want to hurt you, but if they do because they're being boneheads, well, they didn't mean it. We see too many deaths on the road because of it. Slow down, move over. It's the law. Do it. Doesn't matter. You see orange lights, you see red, blue, slow down, move over. You should be getting a full lane over if it's available. We're slowing down significantly to make sure you're passing safely. And it's not slow down like 5K. Like slow the hell down. That's the message. Okay. RB. What does RB want to say? Boop, boop, boop. Gothic Care Bear says, hi, Sean. Hey, I think I know who that is. New username. But I even though it is tiny on my screen, that's way too far away. I think I know who that is. And thank you for the gift. RB says, never talk to cops. Why? Cops are just people who want to help other people. Now, the deal is, I just read another comment. So the deal is that cops are just people helping other people. And if you don't talk to cops, like some people who may have just got charged because they refused to cooperate, it doesn't go well. Like getting good information. Listen, don't admit to anything. Get a lawyer, have your lawyer talk, but get legal advice. I'm being neutral in this comment. I'm obviously pro police. I want bad folks and folks who are violating to be held accountable for their actions. I'm not trying to bugger things up for the police. I'm not trying to bugger things up for you. I'm just telling you, get legal advice. That's what you should do. Haman Shu says, damn, not a good news. I'm go and have good sleep because sleeping in a holding cell isn't comfortable. No kidding. Concrete or metal slabs, not fun to sleep in. Yeah, I know. I hear you. Get some good sleep. Talk to a lawyer in the morning or whenever you wake up. Satamo wants to know why my RX-8 run like crap all the time. That's a question that that's a wankle, not a wanker, a wankle. And the it's a Melody the Mechanic question. I don't know, why is your wankle out of tune? Listen, it's an interesting engine. A rotary engine or Rotax engine is an interesting engine that I know nothing about other than the things that I just spilled out. So a friend of mine used to have an RX-7. I like the RX-7. Not the new one. I can't fit in the new one. Good looking car, but I can't fit inside. I broke one once, the center console of one, I think. It made a loud noise. Okay. Normando is back. Duck says, in car, not snow. Let's say here. Boom, boom, boom. How much do cops appreciate humor while driving? I've always wanted to tell a cop jokingly that I'm a something citizen. Oh no, you don't want to. Sovereign citizen stuff, not a good joke. That generally is the investigative door opening of no insurance, no ID, no license, no everything. I would avoid that joke. That's not a good sense of humor. If you no, don't go there. Pod Piper says, I know the intoxilizer is supposed to avoid mouth alcohol, but why is it that if you swish with water, PBT goes down by half? I couldn't tell you. So the whole thing with mouth alcohol is if you've had gum, if you've smoked, if you've had anything in your mouth, they're going to wait 15 minutes. They're going to wait 15 minutes because they don't want you to have anything that's going to clog their sensor. They don't want to have anything that's going to give you an inaccurate reading. And that's just roadside. Like roadside isn't even an intoxilizer. That's just a roadside screening device that's approved for use, and it's a whole different level. That's just for getting the grounds to make the demand for a qualified breath tech to do a proper test. So by the time you get to a proper breath technician for your instrument reading, there's no alcohol, there's no reduction, or there's no issue with false numbers. Otagagu, what is this? Otakagu. I can't pronounce that. Or if I did, I don't know if I did it right. Hi, please. Is 30 km/h speed limit at school area applicable on weekends? Yes, 24/7, 7 days, 24/7. That's 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's always, unless there's a sign that says otherwise, it's always applicable, and it should be. There's no reason to go faster. 30K is only fast or only slow if you're comparing it to 40, 50, or 60. It's slower, but it's faster than walking. I think the real idea is to not have people use those routes unless they have to. So they make it slower because it's safer. If they hit people, there's a greater chance of that person surviving. And people who have to maintain that speed to go through those areas will go a faster route somewhere else. They don't want people using school zones as a cut through to avoid traffic. How do I apply for a ride along with the OPP? I would first contact the OPP. I don't know what their qualifications are. Generally, it's for journalists and people who are trying to enter the policing game if they want to join. But someone who just says, I want to go for a ride along, I don't know if they do that. Things changed a lot during COVID. They used to do a lot more, and I don't know what they do now. Yes, Angela, I knew it was you. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Okay. Agu says, can I turn left at a red light if it's a one-way street like Adelaide and Richmond? So the rule is right turns on red. You're allowed to make a right turn on red unless it's signed otherwise, and if it's safe to do so after you come to a complete stop and clear. Then for a left turn, it's only legal on a one-way to another one-way. So if you have a one-way street that you're on and you're turning left onto another one-way street, yes, you can make a left turn on red after coming to a complete stop, assuming there's no sign preventing it. Okay, excuse me as I have a sip of water. Okay, scrolling back a bit. What is Tony talking about? I don't see Tony. Okay. We got Seth and we've got Tracy both answered that question. Tony, what do I do if someone blocks my driveway and I can't leave my driveway? You call the police towing or parking enforcement, and parking enforcement will come and tow them. They can tow them. They're blocking the road, they'll ticket and tow them. Now, I don't know what the time frame is. I don't know if it's an immediate thing, but yeah, that would be the start. You could call parking enforcement. There's a web in Toronto anyway. There's a web link. You can do an online form. That's a good way to get things going. Now, I don't know how quickly it'll be responded to. I don't know. I understand you might have somewhere to go. If it's an emergency, you need medical stuff, call police, call fire and ambulance. Like, it depends on what the situation is. If you're experiencing an emergency, it's different than I'm late for work, which may feel like an emergency. Grandpa in 2018 says some traffic cops have a problem with this. What's the only corner you turn 90 degrees without a signal? Huh? I don't understand the some traffic cops have a problem with this, but I don't understand your question. I'm not picking up what you're putting down. Jack Byerly says, I find the best way to talk to a cop is just to be honest and treat them like any other stranger. Yeah. I just polite, honest. I mean, here's the thing: if they pulled you over, now there's legal obligations you have to identify. There's other stuff you don't have to do. Just be cordial. That's the big thing. Don't run running bad. Mental misstep says, I'm a firefighter, and the amount of people who don't know what to do when they see lights and sirens is wild. And I agree with you. It's shocking. And it's the reason why you see police exceeding the posted speed limit without their lights and sirens on. Because when they turn them on, people freak the F out. They either stop right where they are, they get nervous, they pull to the wrong side, they go slow. I've seen it all. It is usually faster and safer for us to roll quietly and quickly. And we slow down. We have to slow down with lights and sirens because people just don't understand. Melody says, I'm in charge of the kitchen for church's Xmas community dinner, expecting 150. That's going to be a lot of cooking. That sounds good, though. What are you serving? Now I'm getting hungry. Again, the best time. Everyone doing awesomeness, getting out and taking care of other people. Yeah, I wish it could be Christmas all year round. Christmas, Hanukkah, holidays where people treat people nicely all year round. Why is it only once a year for we need more reason we need more reminding to be good to one another. That's what this is. Okay. We got if I get a lawyer, Healthy Temptation says if I get a lawyer, I'm not going to be able to afford groceries or gas. What are you getting a lawyer for? Like if you're arrested, there's duty counsel lawyers available for you at no charge. That's still a lawyer. They're going to give you the advice of what to do next, of what you're required to legally. They're going to that's free. If you hire a lawyer because you're being charged, you've got bigger problems than if you worry about groceries right now because you're probably in custody. Yeah. Seth says to Melody, I'm happy people like you exist. I'm sad that people like you have to. I don't see the rest. Oh, have to exist, I'm assuming. I'm going to extrapolate. Yes. Douglas Belford wants to know if it's against the law to press. Oh, sorry. Is it against the law to pass safety on a yellow line in Ontario? Pass safely, I'm assuming. It depends. So there's no law that says you can't pass on a yellow line. The lines are there to tell you what's happening on the other side of that line. Yellow lines mean traffic on the other side of the line is traveling towards you, not with you, as it would be with a white line. Solid lines are a deterrent. They're there to tell you it's probably not a good idea. Dotted lines say it's less of a bad idea. So use caution. We should use caution when you do anything. But dotted lines means you can. Yellow line solid means you shouldn't. I don't want to say can't because it's not enforceable to say you can't. You can technically pass someone on a solid line. Is it a good idea? Hell no. Could you do it? Yes. Could you be charged for doing it? Not the line. But if you caused a collision because you did it, then yes. Not only did you cross the line, which was a great warning tool, but then you did whatever you did that caused the collision, and that could be unsafe passing or any number of things. Careless, stuff and things like that. But we're the only province that it isn't illegal to cross a painted line. Now, there are places where a painted line is illegal to cross, like on the 404, on the highways, 400 series highways, where there's signage saying, thou shall not cross said line. The sign is enforceable, and it tells you not to do the thing. The line itself has no authority, but the sign does, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Is there a difference in the decibel level of sirens if police, fire, and ambulance? What? Is there a difference in the decibel level of sirens for police, fire, and ambulance? I'm editing on the fly here. There's different tunes based on manufacturer of what's installed. Most police officers or police vehicles have one siren unit at 100 watts. Most fire and ambulance have dual siren units because they're mounted externally. So two speakers make it louder. But decibel, I couldn't tell you. I mean, other than a single siren speaker versus dual siren speakers, which would just be louder. Some vehicles have the Rumbler external unit, which is really, really low. You can feel it in your chest. Much more effective than the audible because you get into this whole sciencey, physicsy thing, and sirens don't work well for vehicles. Like if we're both traveling at 100 kilometers an hour on the highway, I have to be like one car length behind you for you to really understand or hear it in any meaningful way. And then you add sound deadening glass, and you add someone listening to the speaker and just off in La La Land on a cell phone call, whatever the case may be. It's very interesting. Yes. But the Doppler effect, one of my favorite topics. It really screws it up. Tien says, speaking of police cars with active sirens, should a car in the box that is preparing to turn left stop where they are, complete the turn? So you're about to make a turn, you hear sirens. You have to make a decision. I couldn't tell you specifically where to go. Chances are you are in a situation where you don't want to move unless the police car gets behind you and says, get out of my way. Now, that is very different advice than what I give if you're behind the white line. If you're behind the stop bar, you have not entered the intersection. you don't move. Even if the police car is behind you and it's a red light, you don't move because you have no lawful authority to enter the intersection. If you cause a collision, you're responsible. Your insurance is going to penalize you. You're going to get charged. You're going to be the one who caused the collision. But if you're already in the intersection, you have an obligation to clear, but you have to make sure you can clear safely. So you have to make sure that you know where that police vehicle is. If they're right behind you honking, well, you're in their way. If they go around you, you're better off not moving. It depends on the situation. I can't give you advice directly because I'm speculating on situations that could be very different and dynamic. Yeah, that's my way of saying I can't tell you what I don't know based on the construction size and ability for a police vehicle to maneuver around you. But I think it would be a really, really good place to use extreme caution. Yeah. It's 49 minutes after we pressed go. Not 49 minutes after the hour. What time is it? It's 51 minutes into the hour. I usually do an hour. Sometimes I go a little longer, but I got lots of stuff and things to do today. So we're going to try and keep it as close to an hour as possible. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer. I used to be a Toronto copper, but I've done lots of different things. And I bring you that knowledge here on Ask a Traffic Cop. The show's called Ask a Traffic Cop. I am no longer a traffic cop, but I have all that stuff and things stuck in the noggin. Happy to share my knowledge with you. If we don't know something, we look it up and figure it out together. But I know lots of stuff and things, and that comes in handy, especially with this stuff. You could know stuff and things. You can follow along by following the channel. You can go and listen to the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of content that I've put up over the years. I've got like 4 years of live streams, and they used to be 5 days a week for at least an hour, and now they're 2 days a week. But that's it's a lot of the same stuff on repeat. But everyone deserves to hear their answer separately. It would be less fun if it was just go Google it. Well, Google, you can't even trust. And someone asked me, why doesn't everybody just use ChatGPT to get the answer? Because ChatGPT lies. It lies like a rug. You cannot trust ChatGPT. It's sad. It's sad because you can Google it and you can ChatGPT it and you can get 5 different answers when doing that. You have to actually understand and go to the source information, the Highway Traffic Act, the Ontario regulations, the criminal code, wherever it is you need to read it and understand it. And I try and bridge that gap by making it much more palatable than the legalese that are found on those pages. And now, if you go to askatrafficcop.ca, I actually have a learn section that has links to every traffic act in North America, whether it's the United States or Canada. It's all there. And you tell me how much fun it is to read when you go to those links. Okay. Boop-a-doo. Just looking at some dialogue amongst y'all. Oh, a lot of conversation. Please use the letter Q in front of a question to me so I can skip a lot of the dialogue amongst yourselves. I mean, it's a pretty good indicator that if you have at Douglas Belford at the beginning of it, you're talking to Douglas Belford, but just saying. Dawson wants to know what I think about there being no more speed cameras. I think it's a really sad day for the province. I think it's a sad period of time because I think they've traded votes for safety, or traded safety for votes. Because I think, and not just I think, I know people are going much faster in school zones than they were just a month ago when it was still being enforced by the system. Now, Jerry Joe just jumped in, and last live stream when he was asking questions, I continuously forgot to answer his stuff. I'm going straight through and asking his question. Hey, Sean, I saw a police cruiser blaring its sirens and lights in my rear view just as it approached the intersection. It stopped the lights and sirens and continued normally. Why does this happen? So it approached the intersection and shut them down. So a couple of things happen. One, they don't want everyone to freak out because people do the darndest things when police and sirens are in and about. They think it's for them. It could have caused a collision, but it could have also been that the call they were being sent to priority was canceled. Very often we'll get a priority call. Everyone will go, lights and sirens. They're all racing. And then they'll hear, we have enough units on scene, stand down. Everyone's cool. Like, no more units needed. Awesome. Everyone shuts it down and then waits for the adrenaline to go away because it's a high stress situation. People think it's lights, cameras, fun. It is a stressful situation. It's awesome. It's kind of awesome, but it's also extremely stressful. And you're going to, because as much as I say it's fun to go lights and sirens, You're responsible for everything that happens during that period of time. Your lights and sirens. You're responsible for everything you do anyway, but even more so when the lights and sirens are active. And you're going there for a reason. Someone needs the police. As soon as we find out somebody is got it covered, we can slowly proceed. And we may still go to back up that person, but we don't do it with the same gusto when they have enough units on scene. Just go there to help. Okay. Island Tints guy. How much tint you putting on? I know speed limit and school zone changes on PEI. Limit only applies 8 to 5 Monday to Friday. It depends on your location. There, it would be signed that way. I would imagine. Now, PEI is a place I'm not familiar with in terms of their school zones or their traffic act in general. But generally speaking, if the sign says it, that's what it is. 20 by, I can't figure out what that is, your username, but 20 by, we'll go with that. Is it hard to join the police department? It's a very competitive position. It's definitely something that's going to test you both mentally and physically and educationally, which I guess is mentally. But you have to be able to pass the academic tests. You have to be able to pass the psychological tests. You have to pass the physical tests. It's a lot. And then once you're in, you have to you get stressed out, and they push you to your limits because you have to know what you're made of. And you have, if you didn't realize that you're made of something a lot stronger than you thought you were, they'll help you figure it out. It's really an amazing experience. And I've had the good fortune of actually going through the police college as an auxiliary, going to the police college as a court officer, not once, but twice, because I left after 4 years to do something else. I another family situation. My mother and my grandfather were in the hospital, and I went to go help and care for them and so on. So I left my paid job for 5 years. And then when I came back, I went to the police college again as a court officer. And then I went to the police college as a recruit cadet for policing. And I've had more policing education than most, based on having those onboarding experiences repeatedly. And then in addition to that, there's constant training as a police officer, and not even as a court officer. It's just constant training, courses, online, in person, all sorts of stuff. Anthony Powell 115 says, "Hi, I'm 57 and looking to get my M license. Do you recommend a private school? If so, any names?" There are some amazing private schools. A lot of those are for advanced driving. I say get your basic training to get your M license and use whatever is local and available. There's lots of good ones. You can always check out what's both affordable and who has a curriculum and schedule that's available to you. Very often they're so overbooked, like you're lucky to get in anywhere. But that's to get your signatory, get your M2 from getting your M1, and that's important. But advanced driving, then there's some motor schools that are taught by former and current police officers. Those are to get you're really learning how to ride beyond that of getting your license, because one is the minimum requirements to be licensed, and one is how to ride. If you DM me, I'll try and get you some like Motorcycle Masters, I think is one of them. They're on TikTok as far as I know, but I don't know where they're located. Marty says firefighters are very extinguished persons. By the way, dad jokes, if you got them, throw them in there. Oh, I didn't load up the dad jokes from I got sent dad jokes. I got sent them, and do I have them ready? No. Did I prepare them? No. But Akila Dracona sent me videos of dad jokes. Let me see if I can pull those up while we're here. Because I downloaded them. I looked at them yesterday. Yeah, I have it here. I won't play I'll play the audio, but I won't play the hang on, put it on. I'm just gonna send it to my I don't think I wanted to send it there. But I sent it there anyway. Okay. It's there. Is my question filtered because of one word, wrong spelling, highway? That's from Crimson Tide, and I don't know if it was filtered, but I now see that. I see that one. Do I need to use my turn signal on a roundabout? Not for entering, but yes, for exiting. You're supposed to signal your exit of a roundabout, because otherwise nobody knows. The person waiting to get in doesn't know. The person waiting to, they don't know. So you need to signal on your way out. And it makes sense, right? Signaling on the way in, you're just following the road. You're not changing your direction. User lots of numbers says, "Hey, watching while driving, keep up the great uploads." Don't watch while driving. It's illegal. Don't do that. It's a $615 ticket. But thank you. I appreciate that you like the stuff. Listen using the podcast or listen audio only while driving by all means, but don't watch while driving. Melody says turkey stuffing, mashed taters, veggies, meatballs, buns, salads, desserts, etc. That's the menu for the 150 plus people she's catering or running the show for Christmas. That's amazing. Pod Piper says in Germany you pull to the left and to the right of the road for a light, making a hole. Why not in North America? Well, because in Germany people know how to drive. Yes, I said it. The level of training in Europe for driving is far greater. We generally suck in comparison here, and that's not just to be mean; it's to be accurate. Most people don't know how to drive. They think they know how to drive. Just ask them. They're great drivers. They haven't crashed into anything in a whole long time, but they have lane etiquette in Germany. The waters, just it's amazing. It's like Moses with a staff tapping the rock, split the sea. Emergency services get where they have to go. People, no idea what to do. It's crazy. I'll have to do some videos about or talk about how they do it in Europe. It's amazing to watch. And there's great training videos. Griffin wants to know if you arrest people if they're driving with a suspended license. You don't generally get arrested and taken away. You get charged. Okay. Do cops stop those who use only daytime running lights at night with no taillights? Absolutely. Improper use of headlights, not having them on is a charge. Not having your lights on in the back, it's a charge. But yeah, they have to see it to do something about it. But if they see it, they do. They stop. Now, they don't have to leak charges. They could just say, turn on your bloody lights. But in most cases, I found it was, hey, can you blow into this box? Oh, yes, you're under arrest for impaired operation, because very often that's the case. So. Oh, Melody is focusing on buns, pies, Rice Krispie squares, deviled eggs, and I like deviled eggs a lot. My name is Sean Shapiro. I like deviled eggs, and I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. If you're not already following, please do. It's great to have you here doing this thing that we do, which is talking about stuff and things all the time, constantly and forever. What is that icon? Become a top viewer and get noticed. Send a coin. Oh, it's trying to hit you up to send coins. I'm like, what are these icons? I'm in here with my moderator account because I can't actually moderate with the streaming system that I have. So I'm watching myself with another account so I can kick people out. But I do have the magical people like Tracy and Melody. We haven't made you a moderator yet, but Tracy's a moderator and Tracy's here. And Tracy, I'm a horrible person. I have an envelope sitting in my laptop bag, and I went to the post office yesterday to send it to you, and I didn't because I forgot. But I have it with me today. I'm going back, and I'm sending it to you fast. It'll get to you before Christmas. Oh, somebody says oink, oink, oink because they identify as a barnyard animal that likes to roll around in the mud. And that's okay. You're allowed to be you. I support you in your decision to be to cosplay as a pig. It takes all kinds. I always find it interesting when somebody gets online and oinks because they're just feeling so hurt inside that they're not accepted by their preferences. If you find pigs attractive, I don't want to step on your oinker. I also think it's funny that when trolls think I have feelings, I don't. I was a traffic cop. Okay, moving along. I want to give them any more time than they deserve. Okay, still waiting on volunteers, blah blah blah. Melody. Oh, I hope you get more. There's not enough volunteers. We always need more. Okay, Melvin Sir says regarding road lines, what about double solid? Same situation. The description I discussed earlier, same situation. They're not enforceable, but they're really the reason for a double is that aside from authority, there's no authority in lines in Ontario, but the reason you have doubles is because sometimes you have visibility from one side but not the other, making it safe. And they'll switch between nobody should pass to one side could pass because they have visibility. It's usually for up and down hills or curves. But again, Seth says sirens, should radio music be changed for songs that use sirens in the sound like profanity? Uh, you mean should they be warning people that there's sirens here so that every time you hear the song on the radio, you start staring out your window? I hate that. I hate that a lot. Really, really terrible. And Seth says, very distracted when I hear it. I start looking. I feel you. I think everyone does the same thing. Tracy says, "Oh my God, same thing." Yeah. There's a lot of things that I think should be illegal, like just bad music, just really crappy music. That should just be illegal. No radio play for you. Oh my goodness. And apparently, my AliExpress just wanted to tell me something. I'm not actually buying anything on AliExpress at the moment, but I get harassed by their email. David Phillips says insurance companies want to be able to increase your premium for speeding offenses. They can increase your premium for speeding offenses. I'm not really picking up what you're putting down there. And yes, Tian, absolutely, we can get you do that. Yeah, we'll connect the folks that are in. Yeah, Tian's another mod. Okay. So the answer is they want to increase your premiums for being a higher risk person. That's and speeding. Listen, if you leave your license at home and get charged with that 3 times, that could increase your rates. Anything you do in the car talks about who you are and what kind of risk you pose to them. Marcus Lopez, why not just put speed bumps? Take out speed cameras and use the money for bumps. Well, first of all, speed bumps punish everybody. I freaking hate speed bumps. My car hates them. You should hate them too, because I don't speed. So if I don't speed, why should I have to rock my suspension and wear out the joints and just hurt my vehicle and jostle my coffee? And why? Because some a-holes like to speed? No, let's hammer the crap out of them and make it incredibly, unfortunately, or otherwise unbearable to live financially because they're choosing to put the community at risk. Do that. I'm happy with that. Now, there are some speed bumps I'll be discussing, and I was on the air talking to Jerry Agar about them a while back. They're automated. When you go fast, the speed bump drops basically a hole in the ground to make you miserable. I like making speeders miserable. Likewise, there's a Mexican counterpart that has a physical large speed bump that flattens if you're doing the right speed or if you're an emergency vehicle. So I like that. But the people who say money, it doesn't make the money. It's all about the money. No, it's about stupid people who want to speed, don't deserve to keep their money. And that feeds the system, that sustains the system, because there's people and employees and it's a machine, right? They have to pay for it. They also pay for police officers to do more enforcement elsewhere, but it's not about making the money. That's just small-minded thinking. Yes. Okay. Ask a cop. What is this? Hold on. It just updated and scrolled away. Come back. Jason Lambert says, "Hey, Sean, if it's illegal to signal oncoming, sorry, is it illegal to signal oncoming drivers of hidden cops? What about notifying on Waze? Waze is not illegal. High beaming is technically illegal. However, I don't think that there's a reason to. I mean, morally, I think it's wrong. I think you should not signal and tell people that the police are doing enforcement because we want to catch them. Theory is we could just slow them down and be safer, but they just be safer temporarily. We got to give them a ticket so it stings. It's a long-lasting impact of a ticket that makes that works. And if you talk about, just high beaming them, they'll slow down temporarily and keep going, and they might kill someone a block away. But your high beaming stopped them from getting a ticket. I would have preferred to have stopped them. In terms of, there was some other comment there. And notifying on Waze, if there's a collision, if they're doing some kind of real work on the road where they're at risk, it's different. I notify about that all the time. But if I see people saying, "Oh, it's a radar trap," I don't think that should be. I think it should be illegal, but it's not. Okay. On the road again says, "Ask a cop." Perfect. Why have you not arrested some liberals? Well, I'm no longer a police officer, but I hear you. I'm a former police officer. It says so on my screen. So, asking me that, I got no answer for you except it's you would need to be a citizen's arrest. You should be very careful who knows you. Is it R? Who knows your internet history? What are we talking about? Interesting. Why did you retire? You seem to really enjoy it. I love it, Derek. I absolutely love the job. Love the people. Loved my career of just under 25 years. Left for family reasons. Johnny says, I see so many vehicles that don't run their night lights in the dark, rain, snow, or fog. Yeah, that's because they don't turn their lights on at all. They all deserve to be stopped. Okay, Melody and Tian. After we shut down the live, I'll start a quick live up just to be able to give you guys the status. And it's a silly thing. I have to be on a live on my phone, not through this streaming system. Of course, I forgot to take Jerry Joe's question down like 10 minutes ago. Of course I did. We got this. Sorry. Bird, squirrel, something or other. Okay. So we'll do a live right after just to give you guys the status. D&D Dinero says, hey, can a cop give me a ticket for dark tints in the middle of the night? Are you really asking that question? Of course they can. They can give you a ticket for dark tints at the daytime, nighttime, afternoon, on Christmas. Like they can give you a ticket for dark tints because dark tints are illegal. They don't need another offense to trigger that. They just need to pull you over and give you the ticket. And if it's really dark tints, they can determine that your vehicle is unsafe for the road and take your license plates, and then you need to get a nice tow truck trip. El Jefito says, Sean, thanks for all the info, brother. Oh, you're very welcome, brother. Okay, we got here. DND De Niro says, based on what though? Dark tints? Based on dark tints. That's what you're talking about. So if I look at the dark tints and I see that they're dark tints, I know that they're dark tints. If they're darker than what I know to be legal, now there's a safety standard that says anything more than 30% light blockage means that it's unlawful for the road. It's an unsafe motor vehicle if you've got it. But if I can't see inside, you're obscuring the interior of your motor vehicle by color or reflective tint, or coating, I should say, which makes it illegal on its own. So you've got to charge for $110 for obscure interior. You've got to charge for unsafe motor vehicle and lose your license plates, which is much more serious. And it's just based on the observations of an officer. And D&D De Niro says, but there's no level rating to tints in the law. Yeah, well, there is. It's standard that is found in the light truck and passenger vehicle safety inspection guide. Haven't said that in a while. So I've got links to it if you go to trafficcop.ca and you can actually, and then they said, but they don't have tint readers. No, but they have eyes. And so it's amazing how eyes work. They don't have to have tint readers. It's not a requirement, but they can make observations and articulate those in court, and you've already been charged. But and every mechanic shop has tint readers. If you went to get certified, they would not certify you with illegal dark tint. And Mental Misstep says, depending on where you live in Ontario, there sure are people who have it. Yes, there are police services who issue them. It's not required by law. Discussed having those issued to everybody. Commercial motor vehicle operators commercial motor vehicle inspection teams tend to carry them, but they're not in every vehicle because they're not required. You need to prove that they were illegal. We make the allegation that they were not, and that's enough. Now, police services that employ them, great. Then they've got even more evidence to slam dunk your case, but it's not required by law. So why complicate things? Melvin Sir says that can afford and keep doing it. Oh, Mr. Dobalina says, what's the punishment for police officers who trample peaceful people protesting in a public forum? I haven't seen many of those people. Have you been watching these protests? I don't think there's a lot of peaceful people protesting. But I don't think they get trampled either. I think that they get away with bloody murder, and only now are people starting to get arrested for what they should have been arrested for a whole long time. So good to see. What else? Skeet 709 says, you sound like you love to give people tickets. I loved. I don't give people tickets. I used to. And I did enjoy it. You know why? Because every ticket I issued was keeping somebody safe. It was preventing somebody from doing something illegal, holding people accountable. Absolutely, I enjoyed it. I would do it for free. If they gave me ticket books and said, Sean, go crazy, I would go and give tickets out for free because the people who get them deserve them. I have been involved in multiple impaired driving stops recently. Well, not the actual stop, but calling them in. If I see something, I say something. If I'm a member of the community, I want them. I want the community to be safe, and I absolutely do what I do to try and make roads safer everywhere. I don't give tickets, but I had a situation where I caught on my dash cam a commercial vehicle doing some really dumb shit, and I recorded it and I sent it to the management of the company, and I sent them the video to support it. And I imagine yesterday was a bad day in the office for the driver that was hauled in to have him see that video, the witness account of what actually happened while he was behind the wheel, because it was some wild shit. At least I thought so. And so did the manager of the trucking company. If he's still employed, I'm sure he'll calm the F down. Signaling speeders. I like to say, what is this? This is Seth saying, signaling speeders. I like to do it so they think there's a cop ahead and slow down. Yeah, I guess that works too. Let's see here. Mental Misstep says, money making law allows police to identify if you needed. I'm not picking up what you're putting down, but and allows police to see if you're brandishing a weapon if they walk up. Oh, definitely. It is a safety thing for police officers. Tinted windows provide a huge risk. It also masks a lot of folks who are on their phone, which means that they're also putting the public at great risk. Although many people don't realize that we can see the light source moving around. Like the phone, you can't see the hand holding it. You can't see what they're doing. You see the phone moving. It's kind of funny. What do we got here? Then we got to wrap up very shortly. Thoughts on correctional officers? Thank God someone does it, Brandon, because I that's not a job for me. I have many friends that are correctional officers, people who have since retired, but were superintendents in the system. Loads of respect for the folks who do it. I don't want to be locked up with the bad guys. Not my thing. Ande. And I don't know how to pronounce. I'm looking at the symbols on your E, and I don't know what we're going to say. It's either Andy or Ande, or I'm going to move on. As a bell tech, I need to trace leakage, and I drive with my laptop open. Is it against the law? There's an exemption for certain people working for telecom companies to allow them to have their laptops open. So let's have a look at this. Let's see what the answer is. It is going to be Ontario regulation. I want to pull it up for you. Distracted driving. And it's going to be screens, and it's 36609. And I'm looking for exemptions for certain evaluation and monitoring functions. Drivers employed by or on contract to a road authority and engaged in collecting data, viewing pavement evaluation indices. Persons appointed as spectrum management officers under the Radio Communication Act and engage in frequency spectrum management may drive on a motor vehicle on a highway with a computer display screen in the motor vehicle that is connected to equipment used to monitor. Is that you? That cover you directly? Yeah, I think that would be under the Radio Communication Act. That's my guess. But if you DM me, I'll send you a link to the section, or just go Google Ontario or o.reg 366/09 display screen. And it's clear as mud there, but it's there. Is it illegal for me to drive my fiance's vehicle? That's Ross Campbell. I don't know. Is it a licensed vehicle? Are you a licensed driver? Is it insured? Do you have any conditions or situations that won't allow you to drive a vehicle that doesn't have an interlock system? Like, there's so many what ifs, but generally speaking, no. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Melody says, want a picture of the tint meter? So many people or so many mechanics have told me that they've never taken it out of the box, which is it's a little bit worry making. Okay. El Jefito wants to know if I speak about, can you speak about dealership and shop plates, the difference between each of them? Dealership and shop plates. So we're talking about a dealer plate that can be put onto a vehicle that is on only for the purposes, it's on a vehicle that is in the inventory and available for sale. That's a temporary, it has to be in the inventory and available for sale. That's for the dealer plate. Shop plates allow you to test drive vehicles. So I don't know, we can go into more detail with that, but the big thing is if you look at a dealer plate, it's for test drives, whether it's a new or used vehicle. But again, it has to be owned by the dealership in their inventory and available for sale. So if it's something that's the boss's car and it's never going to be sold, can't use it for that. Whereas shop plates, again, it's for test drives. The interesting thing about those is the insurance goes into the fleet policy, and it doesn't have to be specifically on that vehicle. But shop plates are a different color, or at least used to be. D&D De Niro says, as a law-abiding citizen, I always let them see my ID when required. That was the person who was asking tint questions, but I don't know the context of that comment. Ross Campbell was saying my ID was demanded for driving her vehicle, and I got an obstruction charge when I wouldn't ID. Okay, so Ross Campbell was asking about whether or not they can legally drive somebody else's car, and you got charged for obstruction, and rightfully so. If you're driving a motor vehicle, you're required by law to surrender your license, ownership, and insurance upon demand of a police officer. It's a lawful demand. Doesn't matter if you own the car, you don't own the car, you are driving that vehicle. You are required by law to surrender your driver's license on demand of an officer. Saying, I don't want to, could have landed you arrested. And look at that. It got you charged. But were you arrested and taken away in handcuffs until such time as they were able to identify you? Or did you finally break down and say, okay, fine, here's who I am? You are not able to say no. It's not a lawful option for you. Thus, you were charged. And you are sadly guilty. The vehicle wasn't in operation. Okay, I'm reading this in real time, so more information. You wasn't in operation, so you weren't driving. That's different. Why were you? You were in the driver's seat of the car, so you were in care and control of the vehicle. Was it on a roadway or on a private property? What were they investigating? Why were they investigating? I need to know more. Yvonne Atara says, Paige is busy, can't read question. I just read your question. WO line allowed to cross, only charged if causing collision. That's Tim McDonald. WO line allowed to cross. So Ontario, we talked about this a couple of times now on the show, so I don't want to get into it again. But yeah, there's no charge for crossing the line. It's for whatever you do. You cause the collision. Okay. Clinton Can Media. How do you do in police officers guilty of drinking then hopping behind the wheel of a police? They don't. If a police officer doesn't have a license, they can't drive. I know somebody who was in my class who got charged. The details are irrelevant, but they got charged, as they should, because anyone who breaks the law, police officer or otherwise, should be held accountable. And then he had to ride a bicycle for years as a police officer because he had no license. It's lucky we have bicycles. Okay. Can we answer the phone in a red light, please, and thank you? No, you cannot. Well, actually, that's not true. If the phone is mounted, red light or otherwise, you're legally permitted to answer and hang up, but you have to be in speaker mode or connected to a device. You can't pick up the phone to answer. You can only press. The courts have supported pressing or sliding to answer. That is legal, as long as the phone is mounted safely and legally. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. But answering, Seth and Tracy both jumped on and said that answering the phone at a red light is illegal. So again, if you were to pick it up, illegal. If you were to answer it from the purposes of just swiping or answering, whether you're driving or stopped, it would be legal. But or if you had a headset and you press the button to answer it. Slow Mafor says, are you related to Ben Shapiro? Not that I'm aware of. Are you allowed to right turn on advanced green if there's 2 lanes? Yes. If you can make the turn safely on a right turn, you're presented a red. As long as red light right turns aren't prohibited in that location, there'd be nothing wrong with that. Boom, boom, boom. De Niro said about his ID because I said front windows need less snow tint so police identify. Okay, yeah. If you're on private property and you run a stop sign, can a cop do anything about it? This is from Slav. Technically, careless driving can now be laid since they've changed the laws to accommodate careless driving on private property, but the charge for stop sign on private property can't be laid. So it would have to be serious enough that they would lay stunt driving or careless driving. Melody says we use any plate here for both sales and service. Oh, one plate to roll them all? Cool, good to know. Didn't know. There used to be 2 separate plates though, back in the day. Hey, Kayla Draconis with greetings and salutations from Kingston General Hospital. Good to see you. Glad you could join the show. I haven't played your jokes yet, but we'll play those in just a second. Okay. C8911 GTS says in BC you need a repaired plate for service and a demo plate for sales. But separate. Cool. Climax says 31, too old to join the police force. No, I was 38 when I went PC. I was 25 when I started as a court officer and auxiliary officer. So 31 is absolutely not too late. In fact, there was somebody 51 or 52 when I'm in my PC class. So I'm now 51. That means based on that, I could rejoin as a recruit. Maybe I want to go back and become a recruit. No, I made a bunch of videos. If you go to my, I posted them on X. Maybe I should post them on TikTok. They were a lot of fun. I was making some AI generated stuff about going back as a recruit because I was bored. I didn't want people to think I was going back, so I didn't post them there. But they were a lot of fun. If you go to VoiceOver Cop on Sono, what the hell is it called? Sora 2. That's what it is. I have an account that you can. I post a bunch of stuff there. What do we got here? What if I'm scrolling through TikTok and my phone is mounted? No, you can't have a screen visible. You can't be on social media scrolling on that. So that's a no. You can't do that. Seeing a lot of Charlene says seeing a lot of transports driving in left lane 401 lately. Is that allowed? No, it's not allowed. I mean, if there was obstructions, if the other lanes were closed, there would be because that's the only place to go. But technically, they can't sit and drive in left lane. But so many of those guys don't know how to drive. So what are we saying? A lot of allegations of people who don't even have their licenses driving those, which is really shocking and scary. I say allegations because I don't know. Okay. I think we're almost at the end of the road. Oh, C8911 GTS. You can get me at askatrafficcop@gmail or voiceovercop@gmail. Yeah, shoot me a message there. We're gonna. He's off till January 2nd. Cool. When you get back, well, we'll talk. We'll talk. I'm gonna be out and about and stuff and things too. Okay, yes, and mental misstep. You're is absolutely right. Some places there's like in Alberta, it's zero tint for anyone. You can't have tint on the windshield in Ontario either. Okay. They shouldn't be. Oh, they're passing in the left lane. They shouldn't be passing. They shouldn't be that lane at all, because their maximum speeds are 105. They're doing 30 kilometers slower than the average speed, which is also illegal. But like the average speed of being 130, I'm joking. It's not legal, but people are doing it. Oh, you have primary, secondary offenses in BC? Ugh, I don't like this concept. So just to break it down for anyone watching who's going, what's a primary and a secondary offense? So like in Virginia, a seatbelt offense, if I'm not mistaken, is a secondary offense. So they can't pull you over for not wearing a seatbelt. But if they pull you over for speeding, then they can also give you a seatbelt ticket. But they couldn't just pull you over for seatbelts in Virginia. I don't know how it is in what do you call it in there, but what a insane concept of that. Let's see here. Is it illegal? This is from Annie. Hang on. Do you think snow tires should be mandatory here in Ontario? I'd love to see that happen, but it'll never happen. Just like they take away speed cameras because people get offended of having to spend money for breaking the law. Why would we want to force people to be safe? It costs them money. They don't like that. It's scary. But Quebec, it is required, and I wish more places had that. Is it legal at any time to make a U-turn in the middle of a four-way intersection? Well, it's an unsafe maneuver. It's not like if it says no turns or no U-turns, it would be illegal. You can't enter the intersection at a red light, which so many people do, but it's not specifically illegal. No. All right. Primary. Okay. I think we're good. I think we are done. We're up to date. Just having a quick look. I do want to play very quickly video from the magical Kayla Draconis. Stand by. Here we go. I'm not going to play the video. I'm going to play the audio. If it works. Why are we having technical difficulties? Here, I sent it to hang on. Play it here. Stand by. I just got to make sure that this is set. I didn't load them. Should I just load them this way? Last time we did this, we crashed it. So we're just going to play the sound, make sure we're playing them to the appropriate place. This might actually work.
Greetings and salutations. This is Akela Troconis with tomorrow's jokes recorded today, which for when you see it will be yesterday, recorded for today. Anyway, reporting in from Kingston, a nice early morning. Here are the jokes. What did one fungus say to the other on their wedding day? I want to grow mold with you.
I hope this audio is coming through because it's awesome.
How many hipsters does it take to change a light bulb? Honestly, it's a pretty obscure number. I doubt you've ever heard of it. How many hipsters does it take
coming
to
through.
change a light bulb?
That was me checking the audio.
A fortune teller told me that in 10 to 15 years, I would suffer the most terrible heartbreak any man has ever faced. I was rather upset to learn this, so I decided to cheer myself up. I adopted a puppy, and I've never been happier. And I guess we could leave it with a quote from the great Yogi Berra. Nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded.
All right. I'll give those deserve at least one rim shot as a group. Not on my game for having not loaded them earlier, so my bad. But I do appreciate that Kayla sends me the videos with the jokes pre-recorded rather than having me read them. I like this community participation, and he's been one of these the strongest supporters of the show since he found the show. Which oddly enough, he found me because of a funeral. Yes, a funeral. Okay. Ticketing cameras that trigger on activation of lights and sirens on emergency vehicles should be a thing. Ticketing cameras that trigger on activation? Oh, so that people who pass or don't pull over. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Mental missteps of firefighters. So I like the concept of catch up. But I used to love following fire vehicles and emergency vehicles of any kind when they were going to something, because I would always find someone to lay a charge to, because so many people are just being doinks about it. Okay, we've got C8911 GTS says, but as you know, Sean, we could write 10,000 tickets a day, right? Oh, based on the offenses we see, yes, we would have either giant risks from the muscle development of writing that much or typing that much, or carpal tunnel like crazy. But either way, there's more tickets that we can possibly do. It's a matter of trying to triage and find the ones that are worthy. I saw a rabbit set off a 30-kilometer-an-hour camera last night. Okay, let's see here. Do you prefer Robin's Donuts or Tim Hortons? I'm not really a donut person. I prefer, if I was going to have a donut, which I'm not going to have, although it's Hanukkah, so I might have to have like at least one this season. But I've never had a Robin's donut. I have no idea what a Robin's donut is. This is from the Dancing Obamas. And Tim Hortons aren't really donuts, like cakes with frosting on them. Not a thing I really care for. Krispy Kreme, they're my favorite. If I was going to have one, I'd probably go for that. Okay. I don't know what we're talking about. Flash. Do you shoot up or smoke it? Are we talking about donuts? I don't know what we're talking about. There's obviously something I'm not aware of. Cool. We're done for questions. We're done for that. We talked about the jokes. I don't see any other comments from other platforms. So with this, I'll leave you until tomorrow. Oh, wait. I just found some questions. Lane splittings, Rogue Jaguar says, I heard from someone cops don't chase fall motorcycles when they choose to evade. Is it true? They have to weigh whether or not risk to public safety is worthy of the charge or reason that they'd be following. So at a certain speed, it's going to be one of those things where they will call in helicopter support. And that's what York Regional Police has done many a times, where they still catch the bad guy and just add way more charges. If you're going to be on a bike, don't run away. It's dumb. And I'm not suggesting that Rogue Jaguar would do that, but so many people do because they think they're going to get away with it. And then they either crash or get caught, or both. And it's much funnier when they crash and get caught. Also, could you please talk about lane splitting by motorcyclists? My understanding is that it's not illegal, but it is definitely unsafe. It's both illegal and unsafe. You would be eligible for careless driving, stunt driving, or even dangerous driving under the criminal code, depending on what you were observed doing. So yeah, totally unsafe, and for good reason. It's unsafe and illegal, but there's no charge under the Highway Traffic Act for lane splitting. It's based on the articulation of the officer observing. Josh Joey says, if I have an ATV with a plow, can I drive down the road to do my neighbor's laneways? Technically, no. You're not allowed to operate an off-road motor vehicle on the road. It's not legal. Now, if you live in a community that has ATVs legal on the road, which there are some, you have to be licensed and insured and so on for the road, and be operating in a community that allows it. So not the city of Toronto where it's not allowed. Then you could do that, but it's unlikely that that's the case. But because if it was the case, you'd know about it. So generally speaking, no. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen every single day. It's just that it's not legal. And if you ran into a problem with a collision or the police, you would be in the wrong, unfortunately. So with that, I will say good day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Drive safe, drive sober, no drugs, no alcohol. Hope you're having the best festive season. And with that, I hope you're also driving sober because tragedy tends to ruin the vibe, along with the charges. We had a chap in here who refused to provide a breath sample earlier, because according to their own statement in the show, that's going to really hurt his shopping list, because we're talking about the average defense now is like $15,000 to $35,000. Doesn't mean you win, just means fighting it. So not worth it. Uber, taxi, Subway, whatever. Don't drive. Be well, everybody. See you tomorrow, 9 p.m. If you're around, drop in. Otherwise, we're gone. And then it's holidays. And we're going to have to play some reruns, because I might just take a break for a week or two. Have a good one.